models a pyramid. And with any construction, what is the most important component of the construction? The foundation. Without the foundation, you can build a wonderful top, but if an event happens and that structure collapses because of a weak foundation, it's not worth much. So foundation planning is an important part when we think about it, and that's why we have the pyramid. And the base level, the foundation, is protection. Protecting what you own, protecting what you earn, and protecting your loved ones. Think for a moment, when you think about what you own, your home, your car, your personal property, other physical assets. Do you insure those things? Do you protect them financially? You do. Why do you do that? Because stuff happens, right? That's the reason you do it. Well, what happens if tragedy occurs and the income earner in the household is lost? You keep the property? Or could that whole situation change because you've lost the income? When it comes to protecting what you earn, what happens if you're disabled? You no longer work. What's the impact on your ability to draw in income and provide for the family? Not only provide, but start moving up the pyramid to these other levels. And then your loved ones. What's your expectation of lifestyle if this stuff happens, if something happens, and the income earner is lost? A lot of people don't like to go there. They don't like to think about that. So part of what we do is to force people to think about it. Because when it happens, too many times I've seen a situation where people weren't provided for, and it's tragic. So the protection of the foundation is incredibly important. And I would ask you to think about what really is your most valuable asset in the household. It's not the home, it's not the car, it's you, the income earner. Just think about how much your economic value is worth by just taking your annual income and multiply it by the number of years you think you're worth. It dwarfs usually what you have in terms of value in your physical assets, and yet we don't protect it. Once that's in place, you have protection, call it defensive planning, you move to something more offensive in terms of planning, which includes major purchases, it includes emergencies, it includes education, retirement for the future. This process must be planned for. And again, see a lot of people who don't plan for it, and when they get there, their choices are minimal in terms of what they can do to achieve what they thought they were going to achieve at that stage. So this is the next level of planning that has to take place. These foundations must be strong, must be in place. We're moving, working with Homer and Mark or myself and trying to get, and Suzanne, and trying to get to higher levels. There's not much point because you don't have the strength of a foundation in place to assure that you can achieve those things once you start moving forward and going up the levels of the pyramid.
Absolutely. And you know, I think John brings up a great point in talking about this foundation is that there's a process, just like any practitioner, medical or dental, there's a process to everything. You don't just get in and make, say, this one size fits all for everyone. You got to take a look at each situation. So that's kind of part of the planning process is that we go through each of these and make sure that all the bases are covered before moving on. There's no sense in building, Suzanne is a investment advisor that came from Goldman Sachs. It can build a wonderful, beautiful portfolio, to get you to your goals. But if you don't have proper disability protection, you'll lose your income. That's as good as gone because now you're not earning anymore. So those are kind of the things that we cover. This next slide is part of what we were asked to do again. So this is probably what I'd say a big important part you want to take away today is this is called a wealth equation. Okay, time times money times rate of return. Okay, when it comes to saving money for a financial goal, that is the equation. Okay, it's objective, it's a calculation. You want to figure out, what you need to do, what you need to put away in order to make it somewhere in the future financially. You put it to this equation. So what happens? Let's take a look at this. If we have time on our side, how much money, how many years we have to put into our financial plan, and we're putting money into it, that we're saving. Okay, if we have a shortened amount of time, well, that means what? We need to increase the amount of money that goes into the plan, or we have to increase the amount of the rate of return, the interest that we get on that money, right? So what typically happens if we want to invest our money and get a higher rate of return, what does that typically mean?
Risk.
We have to put it where it might be risky. We might not be comfortable with that, right? So the earlier or the longer that we can have in a time span to put money into the plan, the better, okay? So this is, I'm going to go through real quickly a case study. So this is what we do in the consultation. So this is going to be just, we're going to use this as an example, okay? And we're going to go through how we determine how much is enough. Raise your hand in here if you have a 401k, you're putting money into the plan, and you're thinking, well, I got my retirement covered, I'm saving, I'm getting my 3% match, 6% match if you get one, and that's it, and you're hoping kind of everything works out okay. Can you raise the hands? Yeah? Okay? So, if we get a match. Right, so, well, here's how to calculate. So if we have, I'm using 70,000 as the example. So we have 70,000 as income. Where did I get that? Well, it's the average of what a hygienist gets paid in Dallas, Texas. Some of you guys may be more, some of you may be less. All right? So 70,000. We're going to use this for this example of 45-year-olds, okay? And we want to use a desired retirement age of 70. So 70 years old, we're going to retire. That gives us 25 years to save.
No, that's too old.
Okay, well, we're going to I'm going to give you the best case scenario. We want more time. So 85% for desired retirement income. What is that? Well, in our industry, financial services industry, in order to keep and maintain the same lifestyle that you had when you were working, when you're not working and providing income anymore, you need to have between about 70 to up to maybe 95% of retirement income to keep that same lifestyle. Now, is that going to fit for everybody? No, it's going to be different, right? Some people are going to have very, I need to go on vacations, and we want to have, investment houses, and we want to have, all this luxury. We want to increase our lifestyle, not decrease it. Okay, and then some people are, I'm going to downsize my home. I'm going to pay off all my debt. I'm not, my mortgage is going to be paid for. I'm not going to have those expenses, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. So, but think of it this way, real quickly. I know I'm running out of time here, but when do you guys spend the most money out of a 7-day week? Saturday, weekend? Okay? Think about what will happen when you retire and you no longer are working. You have now 20, 30, 40 years of weekends or Saturdays. So it's very likely, Chuck Jaffe was a Market Watch researcher. He was in the financial services. He did Market Watch on television, miscalculated his retirement and had to go back to work. Okay? So imagine in this room, especially medical and dental professionals, if you miscalculate how much you need for retirement and have to go back to work after 5 or 10 years. Would that be hard for people in your industry? Has the technology changed? Has the standards changed? Maybe there's licensing and things of that nature. So that's something to take into consideration. So 59.5 or 59,500 is what we need. That's 85% of 70,000. We're going to just use an 8% rate of return before retirement. That's just a long-term average. In retirement, we need to get 5% to keep up with inflation. Okay? We're probably not going to get a pension, right? Is anybody here getting a pension? That's something that's changed. So our projected Social Security, okay, so for someone, this is going to be different for everyone, but this is an estimation, $24,000 a year, 870.59. So what we need to come up with is $35,500. Okay? So what pile of money do we need in order to give, if we're off a 5% distribution, in order to have $35,000 every year and not run out of money? Well, that number is $710,000. Okay? But this person's 45, so they're probably not starting from zero, hopefully. Hopefully they've saved some money and are starting off with something else. So that $100,000 over that 25-year period can turn into $338,000. Okay, based on the 8% return. So subtracted of the 710 will give us 590 needed. Basically, when it comes all said and done, I need to save $648 every month for the next 25 years in order to reach that goal. Okay, objective, not my opinion, it's just a calculation. What happens if I don't want to retire at 70? I want to retire at 65, 5 years earlier. Okay, I'm going to go real fast through the rest of this. Okay, so the numbers calculate, since I have less, I have 5 years less to save in my time equation, the amount that I need to save every month now turns into $1,400 a month. Okay? what happens if I want to retire at 62? I'm taking 8 years off of my calculation.
Hey, Homer, why don't you
It
ask?
goes to $2,300 a month.
Oh,
Okay, so, and that could work the opposite. If I work longer, it's not as hard, but if I start later, it's the same thing. I'm taking the 8 off of the front end. So time is probably your heaviest weighted factor in order to reach this goal. Okay, so again, I'm going to wrap up. I know we kind of went over here. If you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, if you would like us to run your personal EKG numbers, we use your numbers, we plug them in, we do the calculations for you. Make sure you fill this out, put yes. If you do not, put no, no one is going to contact you. Okay, if you would like our newsletter, put your email address, we'll be happy to send you a newsletter, it's no cost. If you would just take a quick minute to fill this out, and I'll have Mark and I will come around. Does anybody have any questions?